Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm calling it 49ers News and Rumors today because that's pretty much the show every day. We're the host, Grant Cohn, Coach Noah Johnston. Nothing's happening because it's February, and this is usually the time when like sports writers get real nervous because nothing's happening. But rumors sometimes nothing. Like the thought of something maybe happening is even better than stuff happening. So now we're going to talk about the stuff maybe that might happen.
This is the time normally where Shanahan goes to Cabo, right?
That's some of his best work.
You got to check, right? You got to check and see what players are in Cabo.
Technically, though, Kyle's usually in Cabo in January. Sorry. I don't know if he goes to Cabo in late February. I'm just saying. Usually he's out by now. Anyway, let's talk about Aaron Rodgers first. This won't go away. I think a lot of us feel like it's unrealistic that Aaron Rodgers would come to the Niners, but everyone in the national media seems to link Rodgers to the Niners. Stephen A. Smith. And now Rodgers is being very cryptic. He put out a message on Instagram last night, like basically saying goodbye to a lot of people, including his girlfriend. I mean, it was very strange. I'll read it real quick. He says, "Here's some Monday night gratitude for some of the incredibly special people in my life with some pictures from the last beautiful year." I mean, I guess he breaks up with his girlfriend right off the bat, or she breaks up with him. And then she says, "To the men I got to share the quarterback room with every day, Matt, Nathaniel, Luke, Jordan Love, Kurt Bankert, you guys made every day so much fun. And I'm so thankful for the daily laughs and stress relief you brought every week of the year. I love you guys." To the Friday crew, Randall Cobb, David Bakhtiari, I love every moment we got to spend together this year. Your love and support was overwhelming, and I cherish the friendships I have with each of you. To my teammates, past and current, you are the icing on the beautiful cake we all call our job, football. God, Aaron Rodgers is so weird. The friendships that we have will transcend our collective time in this game, and I am so thankful for the role that each of you have played in making my life that much better. I love you guys and cherish the memories we've made. To everyone else, spread love and gratitude, you beautiful people, and read a book once in a while too while you're at it. Love and peace. That's so weird. And then he's going to be on the Pat McAfee show today or tomorrow, and then there's going to be some big press conference with the Packers on Wednesday. What do you think's going on, man?
I'm waiting for Brady to respond and like troll the shit out of him. troll like that's totally a Brady move.
Dude, I think Rodgers is retiring. That's what it seems like to me. What do you think?
And thinking about Rodgers and the whole Niners rumor, and then so if I think we've talked about it before with the 49ers, right? Like if he's looking at it, if he wants a Super Bowl win or Super Bowl appearance, his easiest path is to stay in the NFC. Like if he goes to Tennessee, think about all the teams, all the quarterbacks he's going to have to go through, because they're all the great quarterbacks. They're in the AFC right now. Like,
that's true.
And so it's just going to be. So he's going to have to go through Mahomes, the Josh Allens of the world. He's going to go out. I wouldn't necessarily say Mac Jones is a great quarterback, but the Patriots are a contending team. There's a bunch of Joe Burrow is just in the Super Bowl. There's all of that in the AFC. Like
why go to Denver just so you could be in the same division as Justin?
Right, you're going to be in the same division, right? With two top tier quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
So I know
better stay in the NFC.
Yeah, he's better off staying NFC. So now you're talking about, well, who's got contending rosters in the NFC? Well, I mean, I would Dallas, but Dallas isn't going to trade Dak for the Niners. But like the thing about it is, I think I just wouldn't see Green Bay fall, because Green Bay has to participate in that, and I don't think that they would. I mean,
hold on. Here, I'm trying to figure out what Rodgers is doing first, though, because it seems to me like he's building up hell of like anticipation.
So
I think he's trying to get these views up for the Pat McAfee show this week. I think he's clearly trying to get everyone to tune into that show.
Right.
He's going to be a full-time member of that show from now on.
And that's what I was getting at. So there's to me, he probably really only has two options, really, which is probably stay in Green Bay or retire. That's what
Green Bay is going to let him go. Hey, why don't you go to Green Bay? Why don't you go to the Niners and have a great end to your career? It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Tell us how you like it. No, I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I don't think so either.
No. So I think he's choosing option B. This sounds like I'm announcing my retirement later this week. Everyone tune into the Pat McAfee show so he gets more money, and maybe there's some kickback to Rodgers. They seem like friends. And then the next day there's going to be a press conference in Green Bay, probably thanking Rodgers for his time. That's what I'm expecting, unless Rodgers is going to go on the Pat McAfee show and say, hey, everyone, I want to play for the 49ers, and we're going to make it happen. I just don't see that happening.
Remember, there was talks of that last year with him having the Jeopardy offer on the table. Like,
Right.
He's going to have opportunities to make money. Like, he doesn't have to do it.
Pat McAfee show. He could be the that show's pretty lucrative. I have no idea. I don't actually watch it, but
right. I mean, they're talking about throwing money at Sean McVay. Like, people, I'm sure, would throw money at Aaron Rodgers to come out. I mean, quarterbacks have done really well doing TV. So
does he actually have a personality though? That's the problem. Like Tony Romo has a personality. Rodgers, does he? I don't know.
Jeopardy wanted to offer him.
I thought he was so goofy on that. Anyway,
I
think this is. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is. I don't think the Green Bay is going to let him leave that organization.
No, I don't think so either.
I think he tried to get out last year. I think they've made it real clear. Hey, you are welcome to retire at any time, but as long as you want to play football, you're under contract. You're the most important player in franchise history or whatever. You're staying here, buddy. So I think my guess, and I'm usually wrong when I guess, is I'm guessing he's going to retire this week. Now he could come out of retirement like Tom Brady or whatever, but I'm guessing retirement this week. You know what I'm saying? Because Too Short retired back in '94, but then he came out of retirement. So it doesn't necessarily. Jay-Z retired. A lot of people retire.
Yeah.
You know, it could just come back. But I think my guess is he's retired. Now let's talk about.
And if he does, think about the path for the 49ers to like now. It's like who's the biggest contender? Dallas.
I mean, he couldn't beat the Niners when they had Jimmy G as their quarterback. Now they got to go through Lance or Brady or Sudfeld's going to be a lot harder in the future. All right, let's talk. So it gets even weirder. So Aaron Rodgers may be retiring this week. We'll find out. Brady did retire. Tom Brady is retired, and yet no one believes that he's going to stay retired. No one believes it. There's been reports that he really had a falling out with Bruce Arians, and that, you know, everyone knows he wanted to play for the Niners. So Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk, wrote an article yesterday, very interesting, called "Yes, I Think Tom Brady Will End Up with the 49ers." I'll just read it real quick because it's very interesting. I think Tom Brady will play for the Niners in 2022, says Mike Florio. I don't know that he will. I'm not predicting that he will, but I have a feeling that he will. If he doesn't, he doesn't. If he does, many will be surprised. I won't be. What a way to hedge your bets right off the bat.
Yeah.
It shouldn't really surprise anyone. What have we heard over and over regarding Brady's football career? What more does he have to prove? Nothing. But he has never played for the team he grew up rooting for, and that team, the Niners, has a Super Bowl ready roster just at a quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo presided over a blown 10-point fourth quarter lead in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. He then presided over a blown 10-point fourth quarter lead in the NFC Championship 22 days ago. Rookie Trey Lance may or may not be ready to, and they don't finish this. He probably should proofread. Why not spend a year with Brady? The 49ers were his first choice when he became a free agent in 2020, but the Niners said no thanks. They surely regret it. Now they may have a chance to rectify it. It won't be easy. The Buccaneers hold Brady's rights, but if Brady wants out, would they deny him that opportunity? He delivered a Super Bowl win. He filled the stadium in 2021. He signed an extension last year for cap reasons. Would they tell him tough crap if he asked to be traded or released? For now, he's retired, even though he never used the word, and even though he never said never say never, even though he said never say never, here's the reality. If Brady doesn't join the Niners now, he never will. So yes, I've got a feeling he wants to do it, and that by week 1, he will. Kind of a bold article by Mike Florio, a bold headline, and he kind of has his bets along the way, but still, he thinks Brady to the Niners because he has nothing left to prove in the NFL, especially in Tampa. The only thing left would be a sentimental last ride on the Niners. Do you buy it?
I'm gonna say I don't see it happening, and I just think. Okay, a couple things. First of all, I think that the Niners spurned him back in, was it 2019,
2020.
Brady is not doesn't seem, or hasn't been the type to kind of let that kind of just brush off and go away, right? So
right.
Now I think the big reason why he wanted to play for the Niners, obviously it's his childhood team, but I think the bigger thing was he wanted it to make it easier for his parents to watch him play. It was really, I think it was really a move for his parents.
Yeah.
Now that's still on the table. Like he could, that whole idea or concept could supersede any feelings he's had towards Kyle, and he could just say, screw it. I'll just suck it up and this time and make the relationship work. But that typically hasn't been his MO in the past. The other thing was, like, there was a story to come out with regarding Bruce Arians, how Bruce Arians would come in and wipe out the game plan and all of that. I could easily see that a situation with Kyle, right? I mean,
that's exactly what I want to say.
If you're having issues with Bruce Arians,
you're mad that Bruce Arians is editing your game plan. Like, you're not even going to get a say. You're just going to get the game plan from Kyle Shanahan. Run it,
right?
Make it work.
So are you ready for that? Like,
yeah,
is Brady ready for that? And is Kyle ready for the kickback from Brady? Like,
that's my question, man. If Kyle didn't want Brady 2 years ago, you sure he wants him now? Are you sure? Because I think the reason he didn't want Brady 2 years ago was too powerful, didn't fit the system, couldn't do the rollouts and the bootlegs. I mean, has any of that changed? Now he's just 2 years older. I definitely thought they should have signed him 2 years ago. The Niners disagreed. Kyle's very stubborn. I've never really seen him do an about face and say, actually, I was wrong. Let me do the opposite of what I did 2 years ago. I've never seen him do something like that. To me, he wants to coach Trey Lance. He wanted to coach Lance last year, and the team said, nah. And he was like, okay, fine, we'll do it your way. Now he wants to coach Lance. Lance is a very gifted quarterback who won't talk back at this point. He can't. He's 22. He's just basically saying, yes, Kyle, whatever, Kyle. Sure, Kyle, I'll do it. And I think that's Kyle's dream, is a really talented quarterback who just says, yes, sir, yes, sir. Sir, yes, sir. Period. Not Tom. Tom is older than Kyle. Tom knows more football than Kyle. I don't think Kyle wants Tom telling, like, what the hell are you talking about? Right? I don't think he wants anyone talking to him like that.
Right.
I don't buy
it. And Trey is also the first. It's really the first quarterback that, aside from maybe Cousins, but Cousins wasn't the initial pick by the Shanahan camp that year. It was forced on RG3 was forced on him, but this is really the first quarterback that he's really chosen. Like, hey, you're going to be the franchise guy. And is he willing to like throw that away for Tom Brady, especially by reports in the past? Is he wanted Kirk Cousins in free agency, and then they were able to work out the Jimmy Garoppolo trade, so he had to put that aside, take on Garoppolo. So Garoppolo wasn't really the guy that he wanted before. So he's going to do that again when he has his guy in the building that they just traded for. I don't see it.
Also, Florio says, they said no thanks to Brady 2 years ago, and now they surely regret it. I don't think Kyle does. I mean, again, Kyle has never second-guessed himself a day in his life. That's the Kyle I perceive. So maybe Jay York regrets it. Maybe John Lynch regrets it. But as long as Kyle's the most powerful person on the football side of things, I can see him making the same decision this year. Like, you know what? No. I'm ready.
And honestly, I don't really necessarily know that it's the wrong one, because you can't go general philosophy in life for me is like, you can't go chasing the mistakes of the past, because the mistake that you made 5 years ago isn't like, that decision is not, if you bring the decision to today, it's not the same. The variables are different. It's not apples to apples. They've got Trey Lance in the building before they had Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think it's the same. You're going to keep putting this kid's development off. If it's a kid you believe in, I know it's Tom Brady, but you might be sitting on someone. If he doesn't have to be, Trey Lance doesn't have to be equal to Tom Brady, right? He doesn't have to be. If he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo, this team is gonna go somewhere.
Here's another problem with this scenario. And again, I would, if I were Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, I would bring in Tom Brady. I wouldn't overthink this one. But Kyle already said no once. Mm-hmm. Kyle already said no once, and the point I was going to make just escaped me. But it was a really good one. It was going to be a clincher. Oh, well. What was I going to say? Yeah. Kyle, it is a good point. Okay, so Kyle really believes it takes 2 years to learn the system. Like he really didn't. I think that's the main reason he didn't want Trey to play. He takes 2 years to learn my system. He's so big on his system. If you bring in Brady, it's like, screw your system, man. We're using Brady's system. He's not going to spend a year learning your verbiage. Everything's going to be Brady's. I don't think Kyle's ready to do that. It's just like, Brady's the offensive coordinator. Forget what I was doing. All the stuff we were installing the last 5 years and building on, we're going to put that on hold for a year and just do what Brady wants to do. That's what you kind of have to do with him, because it works and you win the Super Bowl. But I don't think Kyle's ready to let go like that.
No, I believe that's what Tampa did, right? Tampa started out, they're using Bruce Arians stuff, and then they started to implement what Tom Brady wanted to do, and then they started
Yeah, that's what you do. And again, I don't see Kyle doing that. He didn't want to do it 2 years ago. I don't think he wants to do it now. I think he'd rather go with Trey Lance, who's been in his system a year and knows how to do things his way, theoretically, than have the greatest quarterback of all time or his era. Can't say that around Niner fans. Okay. I'm guessing Rodgers is retiring this week and that Brady will never play for the 49ers. I think Florio's wrong.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Florida's been wrong about Niner quarterbacks in the past too. So
I like what Florio does. He likes to put the pressure to the Niners, and I think he knows that people are second guessing the hell out of Trey Lance, and he's trying to up the ante and be like, "Well, I think they're going to go after Tom Brady, and if they don't, he's going to be like, well, why'd you pass on Brady? That opportunity was there. You had options. You didn't have to go with." He's setting the Niners up for a big criticism. I like what I see where he's 40.
Yeah. I mean, I like Florio. It's kind of annoys me.
That's true. All right, let's talk more rumors. Jeremy Fowler says the Niners might kick the tires on Stephon Gilmore. Jeremy Fowler is credible, and this makes sense to me. I mean, kick the tires doesn't mean they'll sign him. Obviously, you don't want to give this guy a 5-year deal. At a certain point, you're out on the negotiation, but you should see what he's going for because he's probably the best option for what you're looking for. A number one corner who can play outside and inside, who can actually match up with Cooper Kupp and has had success with him in the past. That's this guy. So, yeah, they should definitely kick the tires and see what he's going for. What do you think?
I mean, the Niners do kick the tires on everybody, right? Like that's their thing. It's like
I don't think they should give this dude a 3-year deal. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, but it's all going to turn. The market's going to really determine it, right? Like if you're saying, "Oh, I wouldn't give him a 3-year deal," but if somebody else does, and then if you really want him, you have to match it. Like,
yeah,
I personally think Stephon Gilmore is not like I think. Going to a winning team matters, but I don't know that it's priority one for him. He's been on a winning team. He's won Super Bowls. He's not Super Bowl chasing.
True.
He's looking for a bag, so depending on what the market offers, I mean, the Niners still have a couple of holes that they got to fill. I mean, I'd be interested. I just don't know that I would unload all my cap room for him just because they can't play without a free safety a strong safety. Is Stephon Gilmore? My question would be like, if you had to sacrifice signing a starting safety for Stephon Gilmore, is Stephon Gilmore on that defense with like Hufanga starting? Is that better than like Tart? Or like a Justin Reed or something. I don't know. I don't think so.
No, I think they should just be kicking the tires on Gilmore. They should not spend more than they think he's worth just because they have one. They have a lot of expensive players on their team. They can't do that. So yeah, be interested in this guy, and if he wants to come to the South Bay and spend like $4,000 a month on a studio apartment and play for a team he doesn't know that well, then he should definitely come here. That's the thing. It's tough to get players who aren't from the West Coast to come here for a year. It's like, it's not San Francisco. It's Santa Clara. What you got is Chick-fil-A, In-N-Out, Five Guys.
I mean, we have Chick-fil-A out here.
It's like, it's really nothing I'm nothing against Santa Clara, but like for millionaires like that, it's nothing that they haven't seen before. So it's hard to really entice people to come out here unless they're trying to like dip their foot into like the tech industry, like Andre Iguodala did. That you could, but you'd have to have someone really looking that way. I don't know. Just saying. Haven't seen it.
The other option the Niners could do, and this would not just at corner, but really across the board position, is leave salary cap space, leave it open, wait for the season, and then look for some of those teams that are looking to unload guys that like the Patriots did last year with Stephon Gilmore, like the Broncos did with Von Miller. Like wait for a team to try to unload a veteran, and then hopefully you get them. You can get them for relatively cheap. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily go the Rams route and go and give your second and third, but if you get a player for like on the cheap, like for the Panthers paid this 6th-round draft pick for Stephon Gilmore, so
yeah,
they can do something like that.
Mark says, "Never forget this is about Kyle." That's the thing. I don't think he wants a quarterback that overshadows him. Like even when he had Matt Ryan as the MVP, Kyle got all the credit. Everyone's like, well, Matt Ryan's good. And yeah, he deserves the MVP because of his numbers, but where do those numbers get this system? What a great job by Kyle Shanahan. It's all about him. And if you bring in Rodgers or Brady, it is no longer about Kyle. Kyle is just the guy who needs to get out of the way at that point, and we know he can't get out of the way.
Right. And I think with Lance, because he chose Lance, he's going to get the same credit.
All the credit.
Like Lance is going to get a ton of credit, right? But it's all going to be, well, Kyle Shanahan developed him. This is his guy. Like it's going to be. They're going to be. He
wasn't ready his rookie year, and something behind the scenes that Kyle did transformed him. When actually he was ready the whole time. He outperformed Jimmy in training camp. No one wanted it anyway. But that's going to be the narrative.
Yeah, like this guy played 19 games, and Kyle groomed him to be
the most remarkable development ever. Actually, he was ready the whole time. Sorry. Rob Martin, what's up, man? You hit the nail on the head. Kyle wants his way with his guy. Brady would be the same, so they wouldn't be on the same page. I would like to get McCaffrey, though. I brought this up yesterday. I had a lot of people talking about it on Twitter. McCaffrey. I think this is something Kyle Shanahan absolutely would do. It's so in his personality. Make a big swing at an elite, quote-unquote, running back who may or may not have some injury issues. I mean, the Niners are also linked to Saquon Barkley this offseason. I mean, I'd hate to think the Niners are thinking along these lines. But I get it. It's like their run-first team. You got Trey Lance back there. Barkley and Lance in the same back. Barkley and McCaffrey. Yeah, that would have been great. Great. But both guys have gotten hurt. Both guys are really expensive. And they just – both guys reinforce what we already know about running backs. They're easy to find, and they're really, really injury prone. I wouldn't make big investments in that position ever. That's my new philosophy on football. Ever.
I agree. I've felt that way about running backs for a long time. The only type of veteran running back, big time veteran running back I would be interested in is like something like the Leonard Fournette deal, like when Leonard Fournette got cut and then he signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for like $2 million.
And you're basically signing him for, a rookie contract level deal.
Yeah. Like if you're a veteran running back, you're looking to revive your career. I shouldn't have to go out of my way to pay you to come. Like you want to come here on a cheap deal, or whatever, because we run the football here, right? So it's a priority. So if you're looking to put up stats, come here on the cheap, and we'll get you your stats, and you can then go have some other sucker pay you a huge contract the following year after you get your stats. But
every time the Niners have made a big swing at the running back position, they've whiffed. Every time they've brought in a player, an expensive player with an injury history, it hasn't gotten better. Like I'm not. This isn't the Jason Verrett deal where like you gave the guy a 1-year non-guaranteed contract. This guy's making $17 million a year. He signed through 2025, I think, and he's played 10 games the last 2 years. Yeah. This is not the place where injured players come and get a magical second wind in their careers. This is where they just gets worse every time. Ask D Ford. So no, I look, McCaffrey I know he's from here and it was babysitted by Kyle and it was great and McCaffrey. No. Rob, no. No.
You know what's funny? Like McKinnon left. Like McKinnon couldn't get on the field. He left and actually had a decent year in Kansas City. Like
he's not that good. But he was yeah.
D Ford, don't retire. You know what you should do, D, is let the 49ers trade you. It's not you, okay?
McKinnon is such a better fit than the Chiefs. McKinnon's actually decent on those little screens. On running the ball in outside zone, it was freaking awful. He was terrible. Even when he's a better fit in Kansas City. Throw just those little screen passes. Imagine what Andy Reid would do with Debo.
Maybe it was because McKinnon changed his number to 1.
I think that's what it was. Maybe it's because he left this training staff. Jacob, what's up? Jacob says, hate the media bashing Trey. Kid has barely played and they want to write him off. It's so stupid considering he's shown lots of potential. Should have played the kid. Yeah, man. And we're going to talk about 2 people in particular that are coming out and bashing him. It's very interesting. It's like Joe Montana started off the skepticism. Then a bunch of Niners-related reporters came back to say that Joe was wrong. And now independent analysts are backing up Joe. It's very interesting. A lot of people have something to say about Trey Lance is the ultimate Rorschach test, the ultimate ink block test. There's not a lot there. You could interpret however you want. Like I saw an article a couple of weeks ago in a big newspaper around here saying that Trey Lance needs to show improvement. Well, you could argue he did. I completed like 50% of his throws in his first start and 70% of his throws in the second start. Like, you can kind of make any argument you want to make about Lance because there's this much evidence. And it's interesting to see people go real far in either direction, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Poe says Trey can learn from Aaron Rodgers. We can win 3 Super Bowls with Rodgers. 3 is better than 1. Yeah, I mean, I'm not against bringing in one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I'm not against that. I just don't think the Packers are going to let that happen. The Bucs might facilitate something like that with Brady, but I don't think Kyle's going to let it happen. I think it's clear that Kyle was interested in Rodgers. They tried to make that move last year. Kyle said no to Brady. I don't know if he to change his mind on that. He said no to Brady. He wanted Rodgers, and the Packers were like, no. I don't know that the Packers are going to change their stance on that. I think the Packers would rather Rodgers just retire.
Yeah, and we just talked about that. I think in regards to like learning behind a quarterback, I think Trey has pretty much learned all he can learn behind someone. Like it's time to get experience on the field now. I mean, I'm
sure that's how Steve Young felt in 1987, 1988.
What did Debo say when they asked him about Trey Lance? He said it's going to take him a while because of reps. He didn't
get him.
Like he's not going to get Trey can't get reps with Aaron Rodgers playing out there or Tom Brady. Like the guy needs experience. He needs to get on the field and play. That's what he needs. He doesn't need to play scout team quarterback. He needs to play.
Well, you could argue if the Niners trade for Rodgers or Brady, what they do is they would trade Trey Lance for picks and then use those picks to get the play. I mean, you could argue, or they would trade Lance. So Lance might get those reps somewhere else.
Yeah. Or you might have to trade Trey straight up or something like that. Like if they're interested, right?
I also think Tampa would want. O-line is the biggest issue the Niners need to fix. I wish the Niners drafted a stud O-line early this past year. Oh wait. Yeah, it is the issue. They just don't do well drafting and developing offensive linemen, especially ones that went to freaking Notre Dame. Stop drafting Notre Dame offensive linemen. You need to trade for them. Like they've had success in free agency and with trades on the offensive line. Richburg was good when he was healthy. Mack was fine. Tomlinson's decent. Trent Williams is what they wanted. Stop. They can't draft and develop offensive linemen. Colton Kivitz.
Maybe this will be the year.
Have you seen if Trey Lance has fixed that wobble? Man, they wouldn't let him play football this year, so it's hard to say.
I thought he was throwing better. I thought it looked a little better towards the end of the year. I'm sure it'll be worked on. If you look at his college tape, it wasn't there, so it has to be something that happened in between.
This learn behind so-and-so is nonsense, says Sean O'Leary. If that concept was true, every caddy on the PGA Tour would be on the cusp of getting his tour card. Also, if the concept were true, Jimmy Garoppolo would be the smartest quarterback in the league. He learned under Tom Brady for 4 years. 4 years. And you would never know it. You would never know it. By far the lowest football IQ of any starting quarterback in the league, in my opinion. And yet he was supposed to have learned by osmosis from Brady. You actually have to have – you can't just – I don't know. It's an active – you have to learn actively. I don't know if just sitting there in the room and smiling does it.
Yeah, I think that's true with anything. I think when you're actually in it and doing something, you're learning. It accelerates your learning. You just have to prepare yourself so that you're not gonna like totally, take a dump in the bed or whatever. Like, but as long as you're like you're a little bit protected and you have enough knowledge and you're just not exactly there, then your learning it'll accelerate. Like me personally in the business world, like I applied to jobs probably that have a little bit more than the skills that I have currently now. So once I get into the job, my learning will accelerate and I'll pick up those skills. So I think it's the same deal.
Nice. So what you're saying is you lie in your resume. Okay, that's cool. I see it. Some people do that. Just kidding. All right. Let's talk about Booger McFarland because when you talk about the most astute quarterback analysts, football analysts in the country, your mind first goes to Booger McFarland. He is Monday Night Football, ESPN. He's been there a while. What his insights into the game are just the best. Yeah. And he has something to say about Trey Lance. He is terribly concerned about Trey Lance. This is a very thoughtful, measured analyst. And he thinks that Lance is injury prone because he got hurt against the Cardinals in his first start, and he feels like he's got to prove he can stay on the field, and that if he couldn't even beat out Jimmy Garoppolo, something is wrong there. I mean, is he right or is he right? Or is he right? Or is he right?
Well, he might be one of those people that has a philosophy of when you sit behind a quarterback, you learn what that quarterback does well. And what does Jimmy really do well is he gets injured. So maybe Trey has picked up how to get injured from Jimmy.
I was surprised that Booger went to injuries with Trey Lance. I mean,
he got a finger, and now all of a sudden he's got it's.
He broke his finger playing behind like the third string offensive line preseason when he shouldn't have been in the game. Right. Is that his fault? I mean, he was throwing a football. The guy got blown up in front of him. I don't know. And then he hurt his knee because Kyle Shanahan ran him between the tackles like 11 or 12 times. I don't know. I mean, and then he played against the Texans and didn't get used like Tim Tebow at Florida. He actually was used like, you know, a CJ Beathard or a standard Kyle Shanahan quarterback, and he didn't get hurt. He won. He threw almost a third touchdown pass. I don't know. Booger, how much Niners did you really watch this year?
Right.
Like, you're terribly concerned. Okay, like that's a fun thing to say, but whenever you point out, like, well, he really played well in his second start against the Texans, everyone's like, well, it doesn't count. It's the Texans. Like, it was his second start. Yes, it counts. What do you mean? Just saying.
And then, like, for a lot of these mobile quarterbacks, people are very concerned about injury history, right? Mobility and all that. Especially because the mobile quarterback typically comes with size issues, right? They're typically smaller.
Matt Corral this year. Do you trust? Is he gonna stay? You know, is he gonna be healthy? Also, Kyler Murray, things like that.
If you believe in that, Trey is not small. Trey is if Trey didn't have any mobility, he's a big quarterback. He's 230, 240 pounds. So that
he got hurt in the Arizona game because of the way Kyle used him.
Yeah.
That was irresponsible. The second time, Kyle didn't use him that way. Didn't get hurt. When he's not being used like Tim Tebow and he's not playing behind a third string offensive line, he hasn't gotten hurt yet. That's all I know.
Right.
So I think it's too hard to say he's this, he's that. With Jimmy, there is a definite trend over many, many years of injuries. Trey's played 2.5 games. Nah, I think Booger McFarland's his concern is freaking shallow in this case. And I question how much he's really watched him and thought about this. I mean, I'm sure he feels he needed to say something because he's on ESPN. And he said something that has us talking, but dude, really? That's the one thing that concerned you is injury? I'm not worried about that. I mean, I'm as worried about that as I am with any quarterback in the league.
Right. Especially if Trey seems to have the ability to avoid quarterback hits, QB hits. So, I mean, that's gonna play a factor and should only help him more.
I think he's gonna get hurt fewer times this year than Jimmy. On whatever team Jimmy plays for, unless Jimmy's back.
That's not saying much.
But I mean, it is saying that the Niners, okay, so your big concern is that the Niners are going to have a quarterback who's more durable than last season. That's a good thing.
Yeah, right.
He might get hurt. But I mean, you know, a lot of quarterbacks get hurt. Do they play through it? How many games are they going to miss?
Right.
Just saying.
Yeah.
So thank you, Booger, for your concern. I think you should be all right. Don't worry about it, Booger. Booger. Put down the pipes and back away from the table. Rodgers and Brady are not coming. Plus, Brady wasn't moving that well against the Rams, and Aaron is Aaron, not good in big games. Yeah, I don't think they're coming either, man. But people the national media won't let it go, so I'm gonna keep talking about it.
Yeah.
Thanks, John. Let's not forget Herbert lost a week before.
Maybe you should ask George Kittle about it.
He seems to like that question.
Yeah.
Herbert lost a week before what? What are we talking about? Booger McFarland? All right, last thing. Brian Baldinger. Brian Baldinger is a very good analyst. He goes in depth. He shows you his work on when he watches the coach's film, and he thinks he's also concerned about Trey Lance. Questions his readiness, and specifically feels that Lance needs to speed up his release. It's a little too loopy. Loopy is his criticism of Trey Lance. What do you think?
I think there's some credit to that. I mean, I think I watched the film. I think that he showed the play. I think it was versus the Cardinals when Trey had a pass batted down on the line of scrimmage, and he credited that to slower release because he said, okay, if the release
He found one play. Wow, that's good.
if the release was a little quicker, then it'd be. I mean, would you like him to have a quicker release? Yeah, but
Yeah.
do I think
Sure.
it would be detrimental to his performance? No, I think his release is fine. I think to me, I would like him to clean up that wobbly ball, but can he play as is right now? Yeah, I think so. Would you like the quicker release? Yeah, but like I don't think it's going to ever be like Garoppolo has a quick release, like on short intermediate. It's not going to be like that. But
So overrated though, because he's not. His ball placement isn't good. His accuracy isn't great. His freaking velocity is not there. Great. You got the ball quick. Yeah, sweet. You got the ball out quickly to a linebacker. That's amazing. With Lance, look. He could tighten up his release, and I think that should be something he works on every offseason and improves incrementally. But I don't expect it to change a lot. What I think is, if you're judging him against mobile quarterbacks, his throwing is actually quite good. I mean, compare his throwing to Lamar Jackson's. Compare his throwing to Colin Kaepernick's. Compare his release to Colin Kaepernick's. That's what, when I was watching this year, I was like, look, best quarterback I've ever seen on this field. I mean, I watched a lot of Colin Kaepernick. His release was long. This guy's release is much quicker. Reminds me more of like Russell Wilson's throwing motion, which has a little bit of a loop, but it's never gotten in his way. So if you're a quarterback who can't move and can't leave the pocket, then yeah, I'd like to see a Dan Marino-esque release. But if that's only a fraction of what you do, and really what you do is get outside the pocket and throw on the run, I don't really care. To me, I don't care at all. So Brian Baldinger, I guess, but this feels a little nitpicky. Like I would like to see him. My thing with Lance, I want to see him throw with touch. To me, I don't really care how your release, whatever. Like, can you throw more than a fastball? That was the issue with Colin. He could only throw fastballs. He couldn't layer passes over defenders. Lance, I'd like to see him do that, and I think he can. But that's my question with him. Like, can you take a little off?
Yeah, my question really would be is like you kind of just said it. Can you layer it over defenders, particularly in the middle? Like he's got to get better in the middle of the field. That's where Jimmy's bread and butter is. If he can add that to his game, then I think you're looking at really a complete quarterback.
Agree. So Brian Baldinger, again, I feel it's a little nitpicky. It's legit. But go back to the Texans game. Go back to no one's allowed to look at that game. You can break down his preseason performances, the Arizona game ad nauseum, but the Texan game, it doesn't count. It's the Texans. I don't know. He made a couple throws to Debo and Ayuk on quick slants where the ball came out really fast. I mean, could he have done it quicker? Yeah, it came out fast and on time, so I'm not really worried about it. I mean, the wobble, I'm not really worried about that either. I think these are things that he can improve on. I just don't know. Like the touch thing, is that something that you can improve on, or is that something that you either have or you don't? Stafford has it. Stafford has the big arm with touch. Mahomes has it. Herbert has it. So that's my question. If he doesn't, I don't know if he's going to be worth that huge mega $500 million second contract. But he still might be a very effective quarterback for the next 3-4 years, just like Colin Kaepernick was, if the team around him is loaded as it is. So that's my thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Jacob says to the Texans. Yeah, Herbert lost to the Texans the week before Trey Lance beat him. Good point. That's my face when I agree. Aaron has great stats. Only one Super Bowl and chokes in big games his entire career. I agree. Plus, he has restrictions due to his MGM contract as droopy. I did see Bob McGinn, who I consider the best beat writer in the country. He writes only about the Packers, and he said that Rodgers' calculating conservative approach in the playoffs has cost Green Bay. It's interesting to hear someone criticize that, man. I don't know. You got to have some pretty big cojones in Green Bay to say something like that. But McGinn did. Got to love him. So I see that too. I'm always watching Rodgers, and it's like, yeah, okay, your quarterback rating's decent. You got the good efficient stats, but like, why are you losing to Jimmy again? What are you doing?
Plus, like, I know the Niners kicked the tires around him last year before they drafted Trey Lance, but like, I don't know, would Kyle want to trade for a quarterback that he consistently beats? Basically, they had no offense and they still beat him. Like,
I think he would, because I don't think Kyle respects Matt LaFleur.
So right, but the other thing is, and it's a similar thing with Brady too, is Rodgers. Now he doesn't. I think Brady would have more would have more of a say just because of his accomplishments. But like Rodgers is going to push back on game plan too. Like he's not going to just be like, Kyle, whatever you want to do, you know. So you're kind of dealing with the same thing.
Sean says, what about the things Trey can do, like throw the stupid ball away, don't take sacks, don't throw the linebackers, don't fumble the snap, don't throw the middle of the field, he can run, not a crash test gym. I think the two big things that immediately you'll see the difference with is the yards per carry is going to go up. They were 16th this year. That's not good enough when you have Debo and Elijah Mitchell. It's going to go up, and turnover is going to go down. Two big ones.
I think it will see overall efficiency just go up. Like
yards per attempt.
There are people out there that really put a lot on the defense this year. But to me, a lot of those times when the defense was failing, it was because the offense started to sputter, and it put you ask way too much of a defense in the modern era. Like they're not going to go out and stop everybody. That's not modern. Like
absolutely not.
You have to do things. You have to do something on offense. Like you can't just go out there and score 17 or 20 points. Like, oh, we did enough. Like, no, that's not today's football.
Agree. Isaac Robles says P. Manning had a wobble. Agree. And this is why I think touch is
more important. His career.
And this is again why I think touch is more important. If you're throwing it 60, 65 miles an hour, then that wobble is going to make it really hard. It's already hard to catch the ball. If it didn't have a wobble, you're throwing it with that velocity. I mean, Kaepernick threw the ball as hard as Trey, maybe harder with no wobble, and it broke Randy Moss's fingers. Hard to catch. He needed Anquan freaking Bolden and Crabtree, who had two of the stronger hands in the league. If Lance can take some off, like Mahomes doesn't throw it that hard all the time. If he could take some off, you could throw the ball like this. It wouldn't matter if it was freaking wobbling. Like just take the little bit off the ball. A little. If you can show you can do that, it's going to be a great quarterback, I think.
Yeah, I think that what you'd like to see, I know, Jesse took the top that Lance played, and then he projected it over this season. You'd like to see better than 57% completion, and I think it'll be that. Like it's so difficult now in football to have 57% completion. This is basically 60 used to be like if you're above 60, that's great. Right. Now like you should be able to get 60.
Like 70. But just remember his quarterback. Hold on, let me get the game log up. He had two starts. In his first start, his completion percentage was 51.7, and the second one it was 69.5.
Yeah, the Arizona game was a wild kind of wash.
It was. Eric says you call it wobble, I call it swag. I like that. Anyway, that's our show. Thanks for watching. I'll be back later today, this evening with Jack. Talk about more football. The 49ers in particular. This was a good show, though. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, keep the rumors coming. I like them. I don't think either one's coming to this team. Dark Halo 2X says Kyle gets one ring. No one questions him ever again. Brady. That is the benefit of getting a ring. Although Doug Peterson, people question him.
Yeah. And then if he got a ring with Brady, I think a lot of people would say, oh, it was Brady, it wasn't Kyle. And that's probably why Kyle doesn't want Brady.
Yeah, I'm going to find a way to question Kyle every step of the way in his career, as long as he's here with the 49ers. That's what I do.
If he succeeds next year, obviously Lance will probably have a good year. So you can heap all the credit onto Trey and not on Lance. Trey and not on Kyle.
We need Papa Cohn in the building. Soon. He's on his comeback tour. Soon. He's getting his feet back underneath him. Okay, guys, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Coach. This was fun.
You got it.
All right.